Teacher doesn't know what a mouse looks like. Blames IT, by user David 1985. So this happened about 15 years ago when I worked at a primary and secondary school. I was happily typing away at my computer when a student knocks on our basement office door. Student, IT, MRSX can't get her mouse working. Me, let's go check it out. I quickly go with the student to MRSX's classroom. MRSX, about time. I internally what to swear, I came the moment the student came and got me. I try to just get to her desk to look at the issue. She has an Acer computer on her desk that is connected to a screen and projector. The mouse were wireless, so most likely it could just be the battery. MRSX, the mouse on this student computer isn't working, so my smartboard isn't working and it is costing me valuable teaching time. Your systems are terrible. Me, I'm sorry. I want to tell her to shut up, this always happens. Call me up, complain I'm late and then make me wait while you bitch so I can't fix the problem. MRSX, don't be sorry, just fix it. And next time you upgrade systems make sure they work before you leave. Me, okay. I had long since given up trying to explain to people when and how we upgrade. Her last upgrade had been about 6 months prior. But if I had told her that, she would have either refused to believe it or complained that the issue was she hadn't been upgraded since then. I take one look at her desk, and instantly see the issue. The mouses we use were dark blue and wireless, and annoyingly the whiteboard erasers were also dark blue. I quickly, in hiding my action from the students, switch the two so that she doesn't look bad. I then flip the mouse over and check its buttons on the bottom, then put it back and show it is working. Me, all fixed. Just needed to be turned off and on. MRSX, why? Before I can come up with an answer. Student, you were using the eraser. And cue all the kids laughing. Me, I'm sorry, I tried my best to hide it. MRSX, students, quiet. I tell her it is all fixed and feel free to let me know if I can help any further. She simply nods and lets me go. I get back to my office and tell my manager what happened. I also write her an email apologizing for not being able to hide the swap of eraser and mouse better. It may have been funny, but I tried my best to protect staff from being laughed at by students. Later that day I head off and sleep, returning the next day to a meeting request from her, head of junior, and my manager. Turns out that she made a formal complaint that I made her look bad. My manager tells me to refuse the meeting and he will go in my place. I don't know what was said there, but my manager basically told me that she was complaining that I didn't just go and get a spare mouse to save her from looking bad. And that by doing what I did I undermined her ability in the classroom and had ruined her credibility with the students and parents. She was furious that my manager had stopped me coming, though he counted it all. Stating to her and the head of junior that blaming IT for stupid mistakes won't be tolerated. And that if she wants he will happily take her complaint to the principal, though will make it clear that I had done my best to hide her stupidity. She dropped the complaint, and was friendly to me from then on. Though I could tell she didn't like me. With users like this, by user Delborn. I'll be staying at this company for a long time. User called in last week about an issue with Outlook, so per usual I offered to remote in to see if there were errors, maybe enable logging to see what's up. When I connected I noticed her connection was very slow. We did a speed test, she was getting 4 Mbps down. Shudder. I suggested she swap her computer to 5 GHz bandwidth and let her other devices stay on the 2.4 band. She messages me today. G-day to you. Just wanted to say thank you for saying something about my connection speed last week. Made some tweaks to our Linksys Wi-Fi extenders and this is what my work laptop looks like today, 128 Mbps down, 6 Mbps up. And for all this time I thought that 5 Mbps speed was just the way it was. Woof. People like this is one of the big things that separates this employer from places I've been before. People here show appreciation for support staff. No one told me it needed to be plugged in, by user Lamini_Kalavik. I do industrial commissioning for equipment, usually low and medium voltage. I have to travel a lot and I do all sort of projects, from port cranes, to mine elevators, steel mills, paper mills, solar sites, etc. I was coming back from a job and my connecting flight was through the US. My plane lands and immediately the airline is paging me. I go to the desk and they tell me that someone is frantically trying to get a hold of me. It is my supervisor. He needs me to get on a different plane. A site had been commissioning, the PLC guy has left, only now they are down and it's a big fiasco. I remind my boss that I am not really a PLC guy, mostly drives and motors. He needs someone there ASAP. So I go to at least figure out what the problem actually is. When I arrive, the facility has a lot of people in suits and ties because apparently this was to be the initial light off of the production line. So bosses from overseas. I find a manager and ask him the issue. He just points to a room and tells me to fix it. So I walk to the room and find the PLC rack. The power supply to it is disconnected. Just laying there on the bottom of the panel. So I find the breaker and turn it off. Then I mount it and turn it on. Green lights look good. Walk out and ask them to try it. System works. People very happy. The one manager comes to me and asks me how I fixed it. I plugged it in. That's it. Well, I'm not paying you for 5 minutes of work. Of course not. You owe me travel time as well. I never got a straight answer as to who disconnected the power supply. I offered and gave some free training to a couple of technicians to try and prevent this from happening again. Turns out they had a computer, but no one knew how to get into it or use the program, so I spent a few hours helping those folks out. How to refer to drawings, the overall protection scheme and whatnot, but it was not prepared and I was figuring out stuff as I went. I contacted my boss and explained how little the techs know and they need help, to which he replied the end user refuses to pay for training. So technically I should not have done any sort of training, but at the end of the day, these techs were stuck on an island. Very nice and respectful to me because they were not stupid. They realized just how clueless they were. Their boss though, he made it very clear I was never to be back there again. Laptop battery replacement, not what you think, by user Orianthi Hunter. Quick one but facepalm pretty hard. Happened this morning. User is a new employee. Position is work from home full-time. User had issues getting on the VPN on her first day last week. She had never used one before. Well, this morning she called in and this was the conversation. User, hello. The charge on my laptop battery is low and I don't have a spare one. Can you send me another battery please? Me, thinking about my career choice for a second. You should have received a charging cable when you were given the laptop. Do you have that? User, well, I have this blue cable with plastic clips on both ends. Me, that is a network cable. The one you are needing is black and has a power brick in the middle of it. It will be quite large. User, oh. I will go look for that. Thank you. Call ends. I just don't know some days. Where is the router? By user Sondant Play. A general officer calls in for urgent tech support. He has a conference call with other senior leaders in 45 minutes and he's unable to connect to the internet. Initial attempts are made at diagnosing the problem remotely, however he insists a technician be sent over right away. Since he's got stars, he gets what he wants. A technician is dispatched. Tech arrives at residence, immediately notices there is no connection to the computer. Tech asks the general where the router is. General is a bit confused. Tech explains the router is the box that connects to the internet. General says it's in the living room. Tech and General go into living room. The router is not where it's supposed to be. Tech asks the General where is the router. The General is unsure, says maybe his wife knows. He has to call the wife as she's not present. General is calling the wife. Wife answers, honey, did you move the box the internet comes in? The wife responds. The General thanks his wife for the information, opens up a drawer and pulls out the router. The wife unplugged the router because the blinking light was disturbing her TV watching experience earlier in the day. The tech plugged in the router and the General had internet connection and was able to join his call on time. The tech, thinking ahead, taped over the lights and told the General he covered the lights with tape, but if he ever has an issue remember to take off the tape so they can help diagnose the problem.